Welcome back to the Property Power Couple with Colton and Haleigh, providing comfort and confidence to your real estate experience. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm swell. Doing so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we just got back from Kansas.
Yes.
Great state of Kansas.
Very interesting state of Kansas.
Just like the picture, I don't think it's made it on the iPad yet. Just like the sticker says, Kansas. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. We drove there.
Yeah.
That was interesting. What was interesting
for me, you got to sleep.
Only on the way home. I stayed awake the whole way there, and then I made it, a section of the way home.
No, you slept. You slept a good chunk.
I was awake for a portion.
A portion of it you were.
Yeah.
When I looked over in the middle of the audiobook, and I was like, oh my God, did you?
Why are you not reacting?
Asleep, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't need to. I did really good on the way there, though.
On the way there, you did.
Really good.
The only person I think that was falling asleep on the way there was me when we hit that long stretch of road.
Of Kansas.
It's like we got into Kansas, and it was the longest road I think I've ever seen, just straight ahead, and for a while it was just nothing.
Right, we were like, let's just pull over, walk around for a second. Oh, that's someone's driveway. That's someone's driveway. Dirt road that goes to some farm.
Yeah.
It was just different. Obviously we're from Texas, so we joke about having to go into Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And then going out of Oklahoma, we were like, what is this?
What is going on?
Yeah, it was interesting. But it was really cool. It was still a really cool experience that we did. Drove versus flying, because the flights there were like
crazy. Well, and then we were gonna have to rent a car and then drive another 2 hours or something.
Yeah, and it was if we flew into Kansas City versus. Anyways, we drove.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. But we made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
We made it happen. We showed up, and it was really cool.
You had a great time.
Yeah. So we went there for a mastermind. So our friend Steven, he put on this brokerage retreat, and this is the second year that I've been able to go. This is the first time that you were able to go with me.
Yeah.
And it's just this mastermind of other brokerages. They were all NextHome this round, so don't know how that will look in the future, but they were all NextHome brokerages, so we had that in common.
Yeah.
And we did a deep dive into what it looks like to run a brokerage. And it's a hot mess.
Well, it's definitely not a hot mess.
But it was really cool to be around those types of people, to hear from somebody that is successful. Steven and his team are very similar. They have 4 offices. We have 4 offices. Some brick and mortar, some virtual. His are, we just have some of the same paths.
Yeah.
But he has already struggled and been willing to share those struggles with us.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal. So we were able to get around other brokers and owners and just deep dive into what the heck are we doing?
Oh yeah. Well, and one of the things I really loved about it was being able to see his team, which in all the Zoom the consultation stuff we've done with him previously, the meetings, the one-on-ones, the one-off lunches and stuff we've had, you get a good sense of who somebody is, right? And you can tell. Yeah, there's a lot of wisdom, there's a lot of experience, but being able to take what I already assumed and believed to be true, but then to actually see his team function and perform the way that they did that entire event, down to coffee showing up.
Yep.
And you're
all of a sudden there's a latte in our hand. It's amazing.
Well, 2 months ago when I filled out that thing about my favorite coffee, I just, I assumed I don't really know what I assumed.
I don't know, but we filled out the form, and then 3 days in a row, our favorite Starbucks drink was in our hand.
It was crazy.
It was amazing.
And so for me, being able to see how that actually sort of materialized on his end, the guy who's given us a blueprint and said, hey, this is how I would do it, this is how I've done it, and then to actually see that in practice working was absolutely incredible.
It really was. It was really cool to see their team and their staff, and that it's not all talk. Right. They really do that, and it was really cool. So with that, we got to be around all these similarly like-minded people.
So important.
And we were able to spend 3 days around other brokers and owners with the same types of values, the same types of struggles, all of that, and be in that environment.
Well, I think that's crazy validating too, that, you know, there were people in the room who had been doing it a lot longer than we've been doing it, than our team has been doing it, and they are having a lot of the same struggles.
Yeah.
And I would like to think that at some point you sort of grow out of some of them.
Right. At some point we're gonna figure it out, right?
Yeah. And I think it just, not misery loves company, but in many ways it's comforting to see somebody else struggling in some of the same areas, and then everybody coming together and saying, well, I dealt with it and I pivoted this way and this really worked well. That was, I think, it was just really powerful.
It was. We were around people who think like us, all those same struggles, some that have resolved them not, but we were also able to give back to some of the newer ones and be like, we just went through that.
Yeah.
And here's what we did.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool energy of receiving information and also being able to provide. And it was really cool.
Well, I'm laughing because I never really heard it. I never really saw it that way. Like, oh yeah, actually we were able to say, we have had that obstacle and here's how we turned it into a stepping stone. But you're absolutely true.
Yeah, and we talked a lot about roles or responsibilities and who is in charge of what and how that breaks down and what things are you doing that you shouldn't be doing. And we were able to advise a lot about virtual assistants. We obviously are obsessed with ours. They're the best. Christian and Hannah.
They're amazing.
We love you. They're great, but we were able to talk to people who have been doing it longer than us, who were giving that same pushback to going that direction, and able to actually help them.
Right.
And so we were able to take some exercises that we had done 18 months to a year ago and look back at them and be like, we actually did that. We actually overcame that. Here's how we did it.
Right.
And so it was really cool. It was really cool to break down some of those things, see some new tools that we hadn't used before, some new resources, ways to look at things. It's like what we're doing Pathway right now, right? Also, and I've taken it numerous times.
Right.
I'm not that dumb. I remember the course, but everything, it matters when you hear it.
Right.
Right. Everything hits different at different times. So the first round, I needed to hear these 4 things. And I was able to get 2 of them done. Right. Now the second round, I needed to hear 3 through 7, and I can actually get 3 and 4. Right. So it just matters when you hear it, when the information comes to you, and that's why going back through the second time, it would be able to have you there, able to hold it from different perspectives. Yeah. Not just me and Kim at the operations of the brokerage, but how can we use this in property management? How do we use this with our personal real estate, with our home, with everything? So it's really cool to be able to pull that in.
Oh yeah, well, and you know, even being able to see some of the different things that they're doing in their property management company was amazing. So valuable. And that, you know, and that. I feel like this is an infomercial for them.
He did not pay us.
He didn't pay us, but really they so giving and open and how can we help you and what can we do to facilitate? What's the struggle? What can we do for you guys? And it was so powerful. And I'm just grateful for that experience.
And they have significantly more doors than we have.
Yeah.
Right? We're still building. They are built. They're still growing. They're doing all those things.
Yeah.
But to see some of the things we keep saying, oh, if we can just get here, if we can just get here, we can just get here. It's like, yeah, come on, but you're still gonna deal with that.
Yeah.
That's not going away.
You don't outgrow the struggle.
Okay, so you're struggling with that. I'm struggling with that. You know. Right. And it's also always funny whenever we get in a room with all these different people, whether we had already known them or not. We built some really great new relationships. Yeah. We were able to cultivate some ones that we already had. So it was really cool. But to hear the ways that states work differently. Yeah. It's like, y'all do what? Yeah. Y'all do what? You have to do what?
There's some funky stuff going on.
So obviously we think that ours is the best way to do things. But just some of the things that I've been grateful that we don't have to deal with. Right. Or that we are able to do that thing or not do that thing. Like we don't have to hold earnest money, right? That's how the company does that. Thank goodness. I didn't even, never even comprehended that other people might have to do that. So it was just cool to see all of those differences and like I said, to build those new ones, cultivate the old relationships. It was a big deal.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things they talked a lot about was empowering the agent. Yes. And it was said a few times, the way I hear it is, you know, teach a man to fish versus feeding a man. And really using those resources to be able to empower the agent to go find them, and access them.
Yeah, we are building critical thinkers. Like apparently it is a skill set that not everyone has to critically think.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but it is. But we're also trying to help empower agents to build them up, to teach them how to do things, not just do it for them.
Right.
And that sometimes you get a company that's just going to promise to do absolutely everything for you, like just because they might be the cheapest option or they're going to do everything doesn't always mean they're the best. Are they building you to become a business owner?
Right.
Or are they just there so that they get your monthly fee and they keep on trucking down the road? And we got to really break it down into some of that and experiences that other people have had and what we've had. And it was good. And empowering our agents to not only how to do things within the company, but you're good at that. Can you teach everyone else?
Right.
And
Yeah, giving ownership of different things and areas. Well, and even thinking like today in the pathway, it was one of the things that was said recently, and it was that he was describing an agent. And he said, "I want somebody who's going to do the minimum things that are expected, and also the things above that aren't."
Yes, and that's it. Yeah.
And that's it, right? That you're going to show up and here are the bottom, like these are the things that you wake up and do every day, and then also you are empowered and equipped with the ability to move above and beyond that. Yeah, to go do what you need to do or what you're thinking about doing. I thought that was very powerful.
Yeah, it really was, and it got really real. Right? We talked through struggles and we broke it down and down and down. Guess what? I'm the problem. Typically, I'm standing in the way of everything. But we broke it down into why is that a struggle and why is that hard and what's the ultimate problem here? Is it not your wheelhouse? Should it be delegated to somebody else?
Right.
Or is that something that you can do? You're just standing in your own way.
Right.
And so we really broke into that, and then with finding all those bruise points, whether it was how to find it in an agent, how to find it in yourself, how to find it in your partners, it was really cool to see then, okay, here's the problem. Now I have a resources and tools to use to now help you get through that one.
Yeah.
And so it was really cool. If you're not doing some type of mastermind, some type of group setting like that, like we are the brokers and owners. So we are at the top. Yes, we're part of a franchise and we can go to our franchise leaders and they're fabulous. But if you're not building that support system around you with other business owners, with other brokers, who do we ask whenever we need to figure out something or we're stuck?
Who coaches the coach?
Right.
Yeah. And
so we have mentors in place, whether it's Michael or Steven. We have numerous different mentors who are very, very fortunate to have these people to lean on. But being in that environment, that mastermind style thing, we were able to really see that, okay, leaders need this too. We need people to talk to. We need to be able to bounce stuff off and remember everyone else is dealing with this too. It can be lonely at the top, or you can find people to build yourself around.
Absolutely.
And so it was a cool thing. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yes, we did that. And all that brain in our energy, all that energy, all of that stuff sitting in our brain, fumbling around. We got back, and then the next Monday we did our business planning.
Just straight into it. Frying pan into the fire.
It was like, hey, Haley, here's some resources. Here's some things that you could do with your agents. When are you doing business plan? I'm like, Monday. So we worked really hard to try to start implementing those tools, adjust it to our agents. And then we were able to come right in. It was really cool. We were able to use a great space that we could share with other people, which is fabulous. We had a big majority of our agents there, which is beautiful. And we were able to spend an entire day going through their business plan, but not just, hey, how many transactions do you want to do? Okay, how much money is that going to cost you? All right, put it on piece of paper, put it on your wall, good luck.
Yeah.
We spent the day going through what's really struggling, what is your real struggle, what's really happening in your business right now, what's really happening in your home life right now. We had agents opening up about stuff, and you could see the people around just go, oh my God, I'm dealing with that too. And okay, I'm not alone here. And within the company, realizing that, yeah, it's kind of hard right now. And it's not all our fault. There are outside factors, but we can deal with it the way we choose to.
Right.
And so we really got to do a lot of that, take some new tools, talk about the struggles, go through there, and then using the trust process, we were able to create a plan. So I'm stealing this from Michael Newman, so
Totally
it's
fine.
totally fine.
I think he'd be okay.
He'd be okay with it.
Well, I think he said that you could, what is it? The first time I say it, it's like my friend Michael told me.
Yeah.
And the second time, it's like I always said.
This is one of those. But we were really able to take that trust process, which, you know, is presented to us as a sales process, but really it's an everything process. So we were able to use the T to think, plan, and prepare. That was what we've been doing. And we didn't just say, hey, show up and come up with your goal there. We said, no, there's some pre-work. Yeah. You need to be thinking about this. What do you want to do? Where were you now? Where do you want to go? Mm-hmm. And then we went into the relate. Right? So whether you're talking to a client or whatever, we sat in a room full of agents who were like-minded. That's why we're all the same brokerage. Yeah. And we were able to relate on a new level. I feel that we were able to relate on a new level.
I think it went much deeper than it has gone.
Oh, absolutely. It was awesome. And then being able to uncover the needs that not only that the agents had, that we could provide for them, but needs that maybe someone else in the room was able to provide. Right. Because the other cool thing is it wasn't just our agents. We had a couple of other small business owners and vending partners that came to participate because they're not getting it either. So it was really cool to be able to see that and hear the struggles from different perspectives and things like that. So we were able to uncover a lot of needs, and then we were able to find solutions.
Right.
They're not all built out yet, but we are working on them.
Mm-hmm. Well, they've been identified.
They've absolutely been identified. We've been able to systemize it. We've been able to say, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do.
Right.
And then the last T is to take massive action, right? And we are absolutely doing that because we are putting it into writing. We're putting the plan together. Yeah. And then what we're doing, which is a little bit different than what I've experienced in the past, at least. Typically it's been like, go to 1 day plan, fill out this paper, turn it in, you've done a business plan.
And then, oh, by the way, if you're not looking at it regularly, then, you know, but make sure you do that.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, look at the sheet of paper that says what my goal is. Like, yeah, write your goals down, they're more likely to happen, but we took it to the next step, and we are meeting weekly for 6 weeks post that to really dive into the specific parts. And it's just an hour on those, but that gives you a week to build out that next section. Mm-hmm. So ideally, by the end of this, our agents and our business partners that are doing it with us are going to be able to have a binder of a true plan because we're taking more than just a day to build it out. Yeah. Because it takes a special type of person to be able to sit in that room, have all that information flooded into them, and then actually be able to build an action plan.
Right.
It's hard.
Well, and for it to be accurate.
Yes.
Right, because you can put it down and it feels good in the moment, and you're like, yeah, this makes sense, and then you get back to reality, and it's just not practical.
Right.
Yeah, I would love to sell 1,000 homes, but is that realistic?
No, you sold one last year, so let's build up from there. You know, and we were able to bring some different perspectives. Like everybody wanted the main thing that everyone wanted was a solid action plan when they left. Mm-hmm. So it's not the most popular statement, but I can't just build it for you and do it for you and all, right? I can give you the tools and we can create your action plan because Colton's and mine don't look the same. Mm-hmm. And we live together. Yeah. We work together.
We work very closely.
Everything, right? And our action plan doesn't look the same. Right. Mine and Kim's doesn't look the same. Mine and Sally's doesn't look the same. So I can't just, here's the action plan. You might not be good at that one thing, you know, whatever it is. So, but we were able to provide some tools to help them truly build their action plan, and now being able to set the accountability to make sure it gets done.
Which is part of the biggest part of the whole thing.
And so, yes, through coaching, through accountability groups, through our trainings, we've been able to set up a new structure for us that I've really enjoyed and been watching it. And we've actually had other businesses that have contacted us saying, hey, can I do that with y'all?
Yes. You can.
Absolutely. We're a small business, you're a small business, yes. Now, I might not know how your business works, but the concept of how to get there.
The application might be different. But
and so it's been really cool. It's been really cool to see that. Also, taking a different approach, like you can't just have, everyone wants to work on action plans, we kind of covered that, but then they also want to work on a budget. Well, you can't just start with your budget. Right, okay, you want to sell 12 to 24 houses, that means this much in expenses and tax, like, you know, you need to make this much money.
Right.
It's like, yes, we need those metrics. Mm-hmm. But what about the events? What about the social media marketing? What about the listing photos? What about all of this stuff? You know, so if we look at our year and we plan out what we want to do from a marketing and event standpoint, then we start to build our budget because we've also analyzed and dissected what we're actually spending money on, now we can build a budget.
Right.
So we really try to break it down. Like, that's not a 5-minute conversation, right? But it's bigger than that.
Yeah,
So
it takes time.
we gave them steps and plans that they've been working on for 2 weeks for us to build our budget next week.
Yeah.
It's not just a bam. Some people can do that, others cannot.
No.
And especially those newer agents who are coming in or newer to or running their own business, being self-employed, it's like, once a budget, like, I'm just trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
Like, I would like money to go into the account.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's start with money in first.
Yes.
And then we'll figure that
And
out.
so
You think, plan, prepare before every meeting, right? You're running comps, you're thinking about why they want to move, all that stuff. And then you get to the actual, think, plan, prepare, then
really
relate to them, and then you're uncovering the need. And a lot of times you get to that uncovering of the need, and you're not able to get to what you need to get. And if you're having some struggle within that uncovering of the need, you need to go back to relate, because clearly you haven't built enough trust. Clearly they don't really understand that relationship
to allow you to provide
to actually
solution.
allow you to provide a solution, because it's all the work up front that gets you to the place of being able to come in and relate to them, build rapport, have a meeting, just be a normal human. But then actually being able to ask somebody, well, how much do you owe? How much debt do you have? What is your actual situation looking like? It really is just it's a process in life, right? Like, you can't walk up to somebody and randomly on the street and go, so what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you? Or like,
What's your house? How much you
biggest
owe?
fear?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, these are personal conversations, and that process is fluid. And so when you're thinking, planning, preparing, you're relating, you're uncovering that need, and then you're getting to that solution. Well, even if you've uncovered the need, but you haven't really understood why that need is there or how you can really get to the bottom of it, you're not going to be able to find an apt solution that actually makes sense, right? So it is fluid in that process, and it isn't as rigid as it seems. It's a model, right?
Yeah.
And so because of that, it has to be structured, but it doesn't have to be boom, boom, boom every time. A lot of times you're going to have to go boom, boom, oh, back up, let's talk some more, let's get a little more trust, let's better understand you and the situation, and then we'll hop back into the next part.
Yeah. And then we were able to end the day with our vision boards.
Yeah.
Which was great. So I hope you all saw the little slide that we put together about it, because it was really cool. Everyone sitting around putting their vision down. And you have yours saved as your screensaver on your iPad, and others have it put up in their wall and that kind of stuff, but visualizing where you want to go.
Well, you got to see it regularly, right? I used to get really irritated every time you go to one of these events or conferences, and they're like, what's your why? It's like, well, I want to eat. I
like
want to
a
pay
roof.
my bills. I
Yeah.
like to do these things. And really, for me, being able to visualize, okay, well, we've set these goals in property management, we've set these goals in real estate sales, in the agent count, and personal fitness, and like all these different areas, and you can get so overwhelmed with just like, oh my God, I don't know how to do all these things, but having it and then spending that full day really lining out the KPIs and what is it that's actually going to show me that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing outside of just the tasks that make sense in those categories. But then that 6-week process, I think, is huge, and just making sure it's all coming together.
Yeah.
So
that's the goal.
well, yeah, I mean, it's cohesive and it makes sense.
Yeah, and our slogan for the year is we are going to thrive in 2025. And we're thriving in 25. That's what we're doing. Jim Pachetti actually said it first, and I just
stuck.
oh my goodness, I'm never letting it go. It's
Thanks
way
a lot,
too cute.
Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
We're gonna be doing that all year long.
All year long. I don't care who you are, where you're at. I'm probably saying it to you
you're gonna hear
because
it.
we absolutely are, and it's funny every time we said it. It's cute, right? So that helps. But everyone's like, I like that. I'm like, use it, put it everywhere. Together, we are all going to thrive in 25. So that's kind of what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Check us out on all of our socials, property management, btrgpm.com,
Yep.
nexthomeonmain.com.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.